So, I think by now all of you realize that are either new to the game, new to the stable, or maybe new to this type of information gathering. For those of you that have been in the game a long time, trainers may or may not be completely forthcoming with a lot of information. They're guarded. They don't want to look silly, and nothing will make you look stupider than a horse. So, you've seen the horses trained down. You probably have your own favorites you're watching or that you've bought into, and probably have some horses that you were watching. Maybe you thought were the best ones in the stable or horses to watch. We all watched. Now, in all fairness, we haven't seen the first start for Maintenance Man yet, who's been a perennial kingpin all year in our stable. Got a lot of work to do to catch up to a couple of colts that we raced this week. But I put him on the horses to watch list, I believe, because he hasn't raced yet. Where is he? Yep, he's on the horses to watch list. So for those of you saying, hey Anthony, pay attention to the road, relax. I'm doing 14 kilometers an hour and traffic jam. Anyway, top 10 this week. I think it's pretty obvious who the top 2 were. Pretty clear. If you happen to watch the races the other night and tune in, I think it was race 6 or 7, race 7 I believe. James was driving Sunshine's Finest and I was driving See You in Tuscany. Those are some serious colts. They're no joke. I knew Sunshine's Finest would be good. Not that good. I said to James, you know, I don't have to tell James. Like, James is super conservative with everything he drives anyway. So you don't have to say, hey James, you know, give him an easy trip. Just say, hey, good luck. And James will get them around, which is good. Which is, I joke, but it's good. For me, I had, in race 1, I had raced West 52nd. Now, I moved West 52nd from 5th to 1st, coming to the half in 59 and 4, or a minute, assuming he just jogged in 58 because he felt great. Just faltered down the lane, ended up 5th. Trotted 2 minutes, last quarter 29 apiece. Looked good-ish, but not like him. So we scoped him, and sure enough, he was sick. So I wasn't going to look like an idiot twice. And that's exactly what I look like, by the way. Because, you know, it's always nice, you know, and I talk to my father about this all the time. I'll take them back and have them closing on the end of it, all of them. That's great. But if everybody took their horses back and had them closing on the end of it, there wouldn't be any races, now would there? So they tapped the brakes pretty hard coming to the half, and West 52nd can get a little ornery sometimes. I just moved him over, just filed him to the outside, and moved him over to the front, let him relax, and he was a little flat at the end of it. It's not a big deal. You know, the horse will bounce back. He wasn't tremendously sick. He had some mucus and redness in his airway. Not a big deal. Not the end of the world. So, just drive him accordingly next time for the next few starts. His next start's going to be a stake race, so not the end of the world. But it is a little embarrassing when that happens, you know. Why'd Anthony drive the horse like that? People don't know how good I believe West 52nd is. People don't know how fast this colt is. So when they see you move a colt 5th to 1st and fade back to 5th at the wire, they say, an idiot. And you look like an idiot. So James took too far gone back to last, come 28-3, race good. I beat him at the wire for 5th. And I wasn't going to let that happen again. So, See You in Tuscany, I got away 5th or 6th with him and just let him saunter along. It's funny, in the schooler, this horse was really grabby. And so I said, just put a set of earplugs in. Usually when you put the earplugs in, they temper down a little bit. They're still grabby. This guy, immediately in a coma. I've never seen, very rarely do you see a horse just fall asleep with the earplugs in like this. So he may as well put a pillow under his chin. He was just quiet the whole way. And I kicked the plugs, and he was all business. So I got away 5th, got over the half slow. We were like 1 to 2, like chalk. Jody got away on the front, stole a half, cheap, 59 a bit. We were at that like 1-1. And went a mile 56 and 2 last quarter, and 26 and 2 with See You in Tuscany. I was flying at the wire, just got beat at the wire. Second beat a nose or a neck or a head or something. But the big story was who was coming behind me. Old Sleepy James got away 9th and was 14 football fields back at the head of the lane. He said, I kicked the plugs, I near fell out of the bike, this horse took off so fast. You go back and watch the replay. This colt came his last quarter in 26 seconds flat, last half in 54 and a bit, and was on the right line a little bit. James said he almost ran over me at the wire, finishing up. That's how fast he was coming. Just a tremendous outing. See You in Tuscany was good. Sunshine's Finest was unbelievably good. So you never know, right? We all knew that Sunshine's Finest had some talent. Not that kind of talent, he didn't. And See You in Tuscany, absolutely you didn't. Neither did I. We did after the qualifier, but not before that. So for those of you who thought I was full of shit all winter saying sometimes you never really know until they get behind the gate, now you know what I'm talking about. So the top two easy for this week are See You in Tuscany and Sunshine's Finest. We'll give them a tie. Obviously, See You in Tuscany was second. So I'll put them on first, I guess. But Sunshine's Finest was tremendous this week. Really nice colt. Now, sitting in third is Schizo, their White Tiger. I might call him Schizo. He's not crazy. Just does a lot of stupid shit with his head sometimes. I went to go a slow mile with him on Saturday. Nope. Just gonna run and be stupid. So I had to go in and put the hobbles on him and train him with the hobbles on. He trained great. But just a little bit of a scatterbrain still. I think once he gets in a routine of racing, he'll understand. Especially when he gets in with some horses that can actually trot with him. Then he's really going to understand that there's no time to be throwing your head and playing around. So White Tiger easily up into number 3. He's going to make his first pari-mutuel start, I believe, Thursday night at Mohawk. Dance Hall Babe qualified this week. 2-2-2 last quarter and 28-2 last half and 58-2. Just looked awesome. Really, really good. Really happy with this filly. Just I've talked about her before over and over and over again to you guys about how much I think of this filly. Today or Friday was step 1. She's going to need about 3 or 4 starts into her before she really gets her legs underneath her. Just a beautiful, beautiful filly though. Going to be a nice horse, this filly, I believe. So Dance Hall Babe, number 4. Number 5, Twinsburg. Trained great, had some vet work done on her. This is a filly, got a little bit of an elevated white count though. She may not make her first start on Monday, but definitely impressed me this week. Turned into a real worker, another shock, if you will, from a horse that was not a worker all year, just kind of present, had a bad attitude, and really turned into a nice horse. Now when you're on the track, she got her ears up, playing, looking good. So Twinsburg easily into number 5. Number 6 was a schooler this week. Qualified, Bay Jewel qualified good. Schooled, awesome this week. I ended up back on the front with her, where she did not school good or qualify good. But I sat third, moved her over to the front again, backed her up around the last turn and really called on her. Kicked the earplug, put a set of earplugs and the mini bit on her like I wanted to. Really called on her down the lane. She trotted away from them. 28 apiece on the end of it. Beat a couple of 3-year-olds and some babies and looked good doing it. She's going to be heading out very soon. Holding Steady. Not fair that this horse wasn't on the list last week. This is our horse, the stable horse. And win his first start. Won a stake race already. Should really be up near number 1, I guess. He's racing today in Chicago. Today's Sunday for me, Monday for you. He's racing in Hawthorne in a maiden. Kyle Wilfong, I noticed on Facebook, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. He's our driver in Illinois for the colt, likely the trot and filly also. So for Kyle, good luck with the colt yesterday. And happy birthday. So Holding Steady easily drives into number 6 or 7, I believe. Number 7, just a nice horse. You know, won his first stake race. Is starting to look like a real character out there. Really happy with what I've seen. See, I'm paying attention. Really happy with what I've seen. Really happy with what I've seen out of Holding Steady, and you should be too. You know, we paid $32,000 American for this colt. Probably got about 20 wrapped up into him in bills, I'm gonna guess. So let's say 50 grand. He hauled 15 back out his first start. So good for the owners, good for the horse, good for us, good for everybody. Great for Holding Steady, because he looked good doing it. So Holding Steady easily in at number 7. Number 8, Oh So Pine. Qualified awesome. I assume he's picked to win on Tuesday at Mohawk. I have to check. I don't have to check. He should be. Probably not going to move him to the front of the half just to be safe. But tremendous colt, as you all know, as you should know. just a nice colt doing great things, and got a lot of goodness ahead of him. Paid into a lot of added money events, a lot of different stake races, and show some real power. Sylvain was really happy with him. He get beat up a little bit by White Tiger, but Oso Pine's learning how to race. White Tiger's having fun. There's a difference. And Oso Pine his first start's in Northfield. I think he's going to love the half-mile track in Northfield. I think he's going to go a big mile his first start. Now hopefully we can get away 5th and cover him up and have him trotting hard in the end of it. The only issue with Oso Pine is he struggles just a hair in the straightaways. He interferes a little bit on his left hind. So that's something that he's going to have to learn to get away from, just with maturity. Not a big deal. He'll be fine. So really happy with him and how things have turned out. Obviously, the qualifier at 59 makes him the 2nd fastest trotter in Canada. Oh wait, how much they going? I think he actually went faster than the maiden trot did in the race the other. He did. So he's the 2nd fastest trotter in Canada, behind White Tiger. So not that means anything, but food for thought. So Oso Pine comes in at number 8. Number 9, Taimo Houdini. Here's a horse that qualified 3rd in that qualifier, 59 and a bit. But looked good. I had asked James point blank the other day, would you like to put the hobbles back on him? Is he handy enough? Is he going to be handy on a half, on a 5/8? Is he handy enough to be a racehorse without the hobbles on? And he said yes. So he's in to qualify. I was debating whether we'll qualify him or not. I think we will. I'll let James go with him on Monday and show me the money. Well, maybe not show me the money, but show me that he is safe enough to trot without hobbles, because I know he's super fast with them on. I think horses like him are probably better without them on, but he's a nice horse either way. So let's see what he does on Monday at the qualifiers. Last, certainly not least, another Illinois horse, Not an Angel. Really impressive. Those of you who don't know the backstory, the recent backstory for Not an Angel was she went out to Illinois. She came up a little bit sore last time. They did find some issues with her. They're working on them. Now, during her whole stay out in Illinois, well, she's staying out there, but from the time I qualified her to send her to Illinois, she didn't train that hard because of this injury to her left hind. It's nothing super serious, obviously. She trotted great, looked sound, was sound after the race, so it wasn't the end of the world, but it was there. So Angie did a great job. Angie and Rob did a great job to keep her sound, get her sounded up for the race, but couldn't train her hard. Obviously, if you have a little injury, you can't go out and stress them and train them hard. We opted for soundness over tightness, and as we always should, err on the side of the horse. And she raced good, finished third, but was tired. Didn't have any hard miles into her. So I told Angie, from what I saw of the divisions I saw the last week, if you're able to keep her sound and tight, she'll be a division leader. She'll be a division leader in no time. So I really like this filly. The ones that beat her the other day, there's one tiny little filly. I just don't think she's going to hold up for the summer. I could be wrong, but Not an Angel's going to give her all she wants here in short order. So Not an Angel, easily number 10. She's already proven her stripes, finished third in a stake race, looked great doing it. Very, very proud of what I see in her. So those are the top 10 horses in the stable right now. I'm pulling into the airport now. I'm going to set everything up, and I'll run through 15 horses to watch in the next couple weeks, and then we'll talk about all 53 of them just after that. Be right back in a moment. So I'm here at the How bad is it when you don't even know where the hell you're at? Montreal Airport. I'm at the Montreal Airport waiting for my flight to Charlottetown tonight. Let me see. I started this video on my way to Pennsylvania. I did the second leg on my way to Pearson Airport, and now I'm in Montreal doing the third part, which would be the horses I think should be horses we keep an eye on heading into the next few weeks. We talked about the top 10 horses from last week. I think most of them spoke for themselves. Certainly See You in Tuscany and Sunshine's Finest did. White Tiger with his big qualifier 2 weeks ago. Pretty hard to forget that. Dance Hall Babe qualified on Friday. Looked tremendous. Twinsburg looked good the week before. Bay Jewel schooled good. Holden Steady won his first stake race. He's racing tonight, which is yesterday for you, in Illinois. I believe one of our clients said he was 7-5 morning line. So hopefully he does well again. It's short field, I believe. Oso Pine is going to be racing on Tuesday. Time Al Houdini is going to qualify tomorrow, I believe. I made a decision. We're going to qualify him on Monday. I was torn. Last thing you want to do is get a nice qualifying line on a horse and then put them back in to qualify. You know, you're tempting fate. Makes a break, and you got to requalify. So I'd much rather school a lot of them, but Tuesday we got a whole boatload of them to school. So we'll leave Houdini in. I mean, he's pretty sure-footed. I asked James point blank, you know, does he need the hobbles back on because he wore them all winter? He said no, he's fine. So we're going to see how fine he is tomorrow. I'd expect if the track's good and the weather's good, he'll go a mile in 2 minutes, 59. We'll go from there with him. And then Not an Angel, just got an update from her, from Angie Coleman, literally as I get off the plane when I turn the airplane mode off my phone. Said that she was great, having a chiropractor come in and work on her back. Obviously, when you have any sort of issues in the horses, that back starts to get a little sore. You know, they get that, it's what we would call secondary lamenesses, secondary issues. And a lot of the time, that secondary stuff is way up in the back. So, much like yourself, you know, you get sore feet, your back starts to hurt you. Well, it's the same for horses, you know, that when they start to get sore in their hocks or their knees or their feet, they start loading that weight in other places, and the first place it starts to get tight and sore is their back. So, Not an Angel, Angie just told me the chiropractor's coming in tomorrow to work on her back. So, we are off to horses to watch. Now, these are horses that may be entering soon, that trained down well. I'm looking at one horse on the list in particular I'm talking about, maybe a horse that raced this week. One of those is on this list too, that raced pretty good. Ones that are up and coming, ones that I'm watching, ones that train good, school good. Just horses I want to keep an eye on in the next couple of weeks. They could end up being really good horses. They could end up being good horses. Could end up being just okay horses. Really, the next 3 weeks will tell the tale, at least the trajectory for a lot of these horses. And definitely a few of them got my eyebrows up, ones that I'm waiting to break out. And I'll start with the top of the list. Warwe Ultra. This is a filly that was definitely sick in her qualifier. It was a little flat, a little hot. We're going to make some shoeing adjustments with her and some equipment adjustments with her, and see if we can't get her proper. I would say Tuesday we're going to be schooling her. She would be in that boatload I was talking about a minute ago. That boatload of horses that will be qualifying. She is in that boatload. So Warwe Ultra is a filly I'm really interested in seeing how she's going to perform on Tuesday. Too Far Gone. There's a filly that qualified really well. 2-3 last quarter in 29 seconds, 28 apiece, 29. Then James Drover the other night, 2 minutes, last quarter in 28-3. Looked tremendous in against Colts. Open company, as one of our clients had put it in a tweet. Open company and open to sexes and jurisdictions. So she'll be heading to Ohio next week for her first stake race of her life. Final answer, there's a colt that I told you absolutely finished up with a bow in his neck in the qualifier, and a horse that I'm really interested to see. I've really liked the way this horse has progressed over the last couple of months, and I don't see there's an end to that progression in the near future. So really interested to see what this guy's going to put together for us in the next month or so. Probably going to school him on Tuesday also. Springbridge Proud, there's a horse racing on Monday. I opted to go with him on Monday night. We made a few little equipment changes and shoeing changes. I believe they really helped this colt. I trained him a mile the other day. He looked great. Really let him saunter on the end of it pretty good, and he was really making some speed, not brushing his knees. So that's cool. I think we're making some really good gains in that regard. Mo Better. Here's a horse that I didn't tell anybody this. I schooled Mo Better in 57-3 last half and 55-3 last Friday, and he looked awesome. Really good. Now, he did cough on the weekend, so we're probably going to go easy with him for the next few days. He might race. I think probably the best course of action. We've been scoping a couple of these horses, and they've been scoping okay, but it's showing up in their blood right now. Their differential, it's kind of complex. For those of you that don't know anything about bloods, don't worry about it. There's a number of different areas of bloods, and those indicators indicate could indicate a number of different things. And the breakdown of the white count, if you will, was suspect in quite a few of the horses. That one of them ended up being sick. So I think we'll draw Mo Better's blood Monday to see what it looks like. He might race next Friday at Grand River. Really excited to race this little horse. He's got some real pop to him, and built for a half. Not a big horse, but wears a long hobble for a little horse. And I really like this colt. So really excited to get him going and get him underway. But want to get off on the right foot. So probably draw some blood on him early Monday morning. West 52nd, I know he's a little flat the other night, but should be. Scope sick. His blood come back not bad. His scope come back a little sick. So I think just maybe changing how I drive him. Instead of making that one big move, trying to stop him and start him back up, maybe just angle for, let him float off the gate and get him up into the flow, second or third over, and let him pounce. He's got that one big kick for sure. Let's not ask him for too much. And I think if I can drive him a little bit differently in Ohio, his first stake race, which will be on the 2nd of July at Northfield Park, I think you'll like, and I'll definitely like what we see, the final product, so to speak, in Northfield. So West 52nd, a little flat the other day, but absolutely figured out why quickly. A little bit sick, and I think we can rectify that fairly quickly also. Stonebridge Loyal. Obviously, you guys saw this filly's these ear things are bugging the hell out of me. Obviously, you guys saw the filly's qualifier. 59 and 4, 29 seconds on the end of it. We got quite a bit of work done on her. She got a number of little holes in her. Nothing serious, but just goes to show the tenacity of this filly and the toughness of her. Nothing serious, but things that definitely could have held her up. Definitely could have slowed her down. Definitely could have put her in a different frame of mind. Certainly not reminiscent of a horse that'll go out and two-move to a victory in a qualifier in 59 and 4, 29 seconds on the end of it. So really impressed what I've seen out of this filly. We did do her knees. Her lower hocks were hurting her, which made total sense, and her feet were bothering her a bit too. So at least two of these things are secondary. The tricky part here is, her knees causing her feet to be sore, feet causing her knees to be sore, or are they both just kind of soft issues on this filly? So we're going to keep a real close eye on her and see if we can't get to the bottom of her and get her straightened out. She does have a stake race coming up, but I'm certainly not going to rush into sending her down to Indiana, where they're probably going to roll right along their first start. I want to make sure this filly's comfortable and ready to go when she goes. So probably race her this week coming up, and then we'll make a decision after that on the trajectory of where we send her. Right away to Indiana, or do we wait a couple of weeks, or what do we do in that regard? We'll figure that out over the next 7 days, I'd say. Yes is racing on Tuesday. James and I both drew the outside with Oso Pine and Yes, but both look very, very good in their qualifiers. I think both of them are picked for first and second, or first and third in their own right. So for me, Yes, impressive colt. Didn't do any vet work to him. Maybe could have. Probably do some after he races. It's on that left line a bit. We'll probably throw a line pole on the outside of him. Line pole on the outside of this colt, and we'll work on him after that. Probably his knees, the man of many missions. Generally speaking, their knees bother them, especially this time of the year, as their 2-year-old year. So we'll probably put some polyglycan in those knees after he races. But the race will be fine. He's a tough bugger, and I don't want to go poking and prodding at them unless we absolutely have to. So certainly no need to do that in a maiden race at Mohawk. And we've been working hard on him all week, painting him and pulsing him and tubbing his feet. So hopefully we can get to the bottom of Yes and undo those last few knots and really cut him loose, because he looked great in the qualifier. What else do we got here? Maxwell Plum, little flat at Grand River. Another horse I suspect is a little bit sick. Got to make some shoeing changes and do some vet work on this guy before we head off to Northfield. I saw a few little holes in his gait. He popped a quarter crack left front warming up, just a tiny one up in his hairline, which was odd, but he did. His left knee, he'd hit it about a month ago. His boot fell down, his knee boot fell down, he hit it. And it bothers him. There's still a cut there that we work on. We're going to continue to work on that. And then I thought left hind. Maybe the lower hocks bothering him a little. Might be up a little higher in his stifle also. That's why we're taking him up to the clinic and get him looked at also. Majesty Boy, another horse, qualified well. Everybody's like, wow, geez, he went in 2-2. He went in 2-2 off a half and 1-1 in a piece on a half-mile track, 2 inches deep, in against age horses. Just to put it in perspective, I thought Maxwell Plum raced okay the other night. 2, 3, and 4, last half in a minute, last quarter in 30 seconds. Majesty Boy qualified in 2, 2, and 1. So take it for what it's worth. Majesty Boy qualified well. Another horse too. Probably going to do a little vet work on him before we drop him in the box in Ohio, but lots of time for that. He'll be ready to go. Do a little work on him, train him up a little bit. He is ready right now. Schooled great, or qualified, I guess. Qualified great at Grand River. Stonebridge Simba, probably going to qualify him on Tuesday. He's got a little more time. The Pennsylvania horses aren't going to have to race until, I think, the 16th of July. So lots of time for Stonebridge Simba. Obviously, this colt's got some talent. We're really keeping a close eye on him. He's another horse. Maybe a little vet work may help, but not in desperate need of it. So probably going to take our time with him and get a good feel for him on Tuesday or Monday. James is going to qualify him Monday at Mohawk, I believe. Screaming Hawk, another guy. He's ready to go. You know, I think his first start might be Friday at Grand River. Him and another colt. Really interested to see what Hawk does. You know, this colt's come a long way in a very short time. So really interested in what Screaming Hawk is going to do, and really interested in Screaming Hawk as an athlete himself. Here's a colt that was a little Angusy, if you will, a little crazy all winter. We gelded him and poured a lot of work into this colt, and he's turned into actually a very polite animal, which is shocking and very surprising, and it makes me happy because a smart, knowledgeable Angus Hall with his gait can really do some damage, hopefully, in the OSS program. So really excited to see what Screaming Hawk is going to do. Now, obviously, Maintenance Man. Everybody's waiting to see what this guy's going to do. We qualified him in 57 last half, 56. He was good. He's hanging on the right line. Took him up to the clinic. His knees and his hocks were bothering him a bit. Now, his hocks had OCDs removed before he was sold as a baby. We knew that when we bought him. Not a big deal, but there could be some residual issues in those hocks. So we had them done. There was a lot of fluid in them, and his knees were a little rounding, a little fluid in them, and his feet were a little sore. So I think what we might do is add some razor pads on his feet, or at least a little bar pad on his foot, just for the next time being anyway, just to see how he is. Nothing with any weight. We switched him over to an aluminum set of shoes because he hits the ground hard. So nothing with any weight, maybe a plastic, what we call a bar pad, a pad that just goes across the back of the heel, just so it gives him a little bit of shock absorption. Or we can go to a full razor pad. That horse has never worn them. So that's an option also. And we did have the vet work done to him. So I might just enter Maintenance Man in to go rather than look to reschool, requalify. I might just put this colt in to go next Thursday or Friday at Mohawk. I'm not sold on it yet. I'm not positive. As you're watching this, I may not be sure at all yet. I must have entered him because you're watching this Monday morning. Oh no, you get this early. So, don't know. I think we might enter him, but I'll mull it over. Put it that way. Candy Mac, the horse qualifying tomorrow. He's got Ohio Sire Stakes next Tuesday in Northfield. James is going with him tomorrow. I expect a good line. I expect he'll be just fine, that horse. Nice colt, did everything right. Fastest last quarter of any trotter. I don't know about Bob's the other night at Mohawk in the race. I don't think he comes 28 flat. I'm pretty sure he didn't, which would mean Candy Mac still got the fastest last quarter of any 2-year-old trotting colt in Canada. Whatever, it is what it is. It's not a real important stat, but nevertheless shows he's got some pop on the end of his miles. So Candy Mac's a horse we're going to be watching next Tuesday. Last and not least is the Butler Did It. Schooled well at Grand River the other night. Entered in to go in a first Sire Stakes in New York and Buffalo on Wednesday afternoon. And I'll be going over there to drive him. We had sent the horse over to Kathy Cummings just for the week. Paul Kelly is going to be getting that trotter. He's going to be picking him up at Buffalo after the race. He's okay. You know, he's a meat and potatoes type horse, but very tactical at the gate, very smart, very sharp at the gate on that tight half-mile track. That'll do him some good. So we'll see how the Butler Did It responds Wednesday with the rail in Buffalo Raceway. So those are 15 horses I'm going to be watching this week. Showed you the top 10 horses from this week. Going to be back in just a minute. We're going to run through all 53 of them, what they're doing, what they've been up to, what our plans are with them, and when you might see them into go. So I'll be back in a minute with all 53 of our yearlings, 2-year-olds.